Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to lots of those faces I've seen today. Thanks so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. All of our sessions will allow you to enable captions if you wish, so please have a look at that if you need that. I'm delighted to be able to introduce our first of our duos. So this is the first time we've done this on the Coaching Summit, so this is a real treat for us today. We have our lovely speakers, Angela Boyd and Sally Mady, and they are here with their How Coaching Can Reframe Your Thoughts for a Better Balance. Thank you so much, Sally and Angela, for being here with us today. I will hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Okay, I am just going to share my screen and then we will get started. But I hope everybody is doing really well today. All right, so hopefully now you can see my slides. And we're going to get cracking. So, how's everybody found the summit so far? I mean, we've had some amazing speakers already, haven't we? So hopefully Sally and I are going to give you a little treat this lunchtime. Now it is 1 o'clock, so I'm really hopeful that you've managed to go and get yourself a drink and a snack and that you're ready to start thinking about how coaching can reframe your thoughts for a better balance. Quick introductions though, before we get really started. My name's Angela Boyd and I help parents to pay attention to what they really need in life. Because once they do, and they start to take action towards meeting those needs, the impact that that has, it really has like a ripple effect, doesn't it, into all areas of your world, enabling you to live a truly fulfilled life. I am married with a couple of kids. I've got an amazing job that I love within HR, and I also run a business outside of work. So for me, life is pretty wild and pretty overwhelming at times, I'm not going to lie. So the tools and techniques that we are sharing today are tried and tested, not only by our clients, but also by me quite a lot.
Thank you, Angela. And I am Sally Mady, an entrepreneur, a certified life coach, and also a mom to 2 beautiful kids who are the absolute center of my life. They are my biggest driver too. In a nutshell, I am a living example of how my thoughts led to live an imbalanced life for a few years. But after experiencing the effect of adapting a flexible and a different mindset and how it has impacted my life and my happiness and my energy, I felt in more control of my life. Therefore, I now help exhausted working moms who spin all plates in life to care for themselves and make the changes they want with sincerity and illusion to thrive in the balanced life they desire, not just survive. Now, both Angela and I mentioned that we help moms. However, techniques we'll be sharing with you guys today apply to anyone. So please don't go anywhere. But before we get started, grab a pen and paper and make yourself comfortable, and let's dive in together. To start, let's explore what is life balance to you. And we've put the word work between brackets because people mostly refer to it as work-life balance, while really balance could be in any area of our lives. Now, some interaction from you guys. If you could scan this QR code or type in the link on the screen, that will take you to Menti. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Let us know, what does life balance or balance mean to you? And please keep that tab open as we will come back to it later with more questions.
Okay, I'm going to stop
sharing. You can submit multiple words here. Oh, they're whizzing through. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I can see that. That's great.
Okay. Oh, wow. Just to explain, so the big words, that means many of you have added the same word, such as happiness, freedom, time for friends, satisfaction. Wow, bit nice one. Space. Angela, if you spot anything I haven't spotted, let me know. Contentment.
I will. I'm seeing it all come to life.
Family, time. Wow. They're still coming. Time for what I need. Gaps between home and work. Peace of mind, self-care. Yeah, we'll focus on that today. Time for fun. Feeling calm and controlled. Harmony, flexibility. Juggle, content.
This is amazing.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's it. So let's stop the screen. And Angela will share hers again.
Yeah.
Sorry, tech issue. There we go. Okay, so as you could see, balance means different things to every one of us. But it basically is dividing one's time, focus, and energy between work, family, things we enjoy and like doing, as well as time to look after our own well-being. It is not something we can find, but it's something we can certainly create and work towards once the awareness around it is present and highlighted.
So now that we've established what balance means to you, I'd like you to just take a moment to think about where you are on the balance scale. So why don't you pop in the chat for us from 0 to 10, where 0 means you've got absolutely no balance at all, everything's chaotic and crazy, and 10 means you have got everything just how you want it. I would say for me, I'm probably about a 7 or 8 right now. I've got a good balance at work with a job that I'm enjoying. Things at home, relatively quite well balanced. So let's have a little look at the chat.
Four, okay, 8.
Okay, so we've got a few here, a few 6s, a few 8s. Lots on that 6. I wonder what it would take to move things. Got somebody on a 4. So this is all really, really important stuff, because what this is helping you to do is take stock of where you are. So it's a simple tool that you can use through any sort of areas of your life. And it really sets a measure for where you are right now. And it's a tool that you can come back to. But for now, let's have a think about how we can create balance with all the challenges that we face in today's world.
There are so many challenges and obstacles that could result in an imbalanced life, some of which are within our control, but others aren't, unfortunately. So now let's go back to Menti and let us know, what challenges are you facing to achieve the life balance that you desire?
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Hopefully you've all still got that up, the Menti available to you. And we'll let Sally just pop that back on for her.
Lack of control, time, too much work, back problems, yeah, exhaustion, health, money. It's all the resources, isn't it? Not enough time.
Time's getting really big here.
New business, other people, that's interesting. Interruptions.
Lack of control.
Lack of support has come up. Workload. Some very interesting words and challenges.
Yeah. Wonderful. Keep those coming. Some coming in the chat as well. Time and work, keeping your children safe. So there's an awful lot we can see on the screen there, can't we? An awful
Mental
lot.
health, yeah, it's beautiful. Lack of focus. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Sally. Okay.
So as you could see, there are so many challenges, common challenges. Many of what we've already knew, you guys have shared, work and family demands, unforeseen events. Perfectionism is another challenge. The lack of resources such as time and money, and working from home with the distractions that come with it, especially after the pandemic, is a very big challenge as well. Technology use and overload, lack of boundaries and flexibility, lack of energy, and wanting to do it all is another challenge. We always feel we want to be super mamas or superhumans and put everyone's needs first, and always being in the driver's seat. That's really challenging. And for most, our own negative thoughts are a huge challenge. Self-doubt and guilt, which is very common, especially for moms. So hands up for mom's guilt.
Always.
Yeah. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one. These challenges are not only affecting our life balance, but they affect our feelings and state too. They could leave us exhausted and overwhelmed, and we snap easily at others, especially maybe at our kids. These common challenges, they are very common, but the ones we want to shed a light on today are within our control, and we believe they set a strong foundation to a balanced life, which are lack of time management, lack of boundaries, and lack of self-care. When we talk about time management, it's trying to balance work, personal relationships, self-care, and other commitments, which can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. Many individuals really struggle to prioritize their time and may feel overwhelmed by competing demands and end up saying things like, I never have time, or I wish I could have more time. Setting boundaries is crucial for protecting one's time, energy, emotional, and well-being. It's important not only to set boundaries, but to respect and follow them too, so that everyone respects them too. Now, the challenge here for some could be simply to say no, especially those of us who fear conflict, rejection, or disappointing others, or feeling guilty, as we mentioned. This is no to excessive work demands or toxic relationships or other obligations and commitments that we do not want to be part of or agree with. And also, when we talk about boundaries, we need to remember boundaries with oneself. Many of us spend far too much time binge watching or chatting on social media, or even with colleagues at work. And then time and energy get robbed away from us, and we end up feeling not productive, which causes stress and overwhelm. So self-discipline is important here as well. And the last challenge, common challenge to mention today, is my favorite and the one I've been neglecting for a very long time, and which has affected my health too. This is self-care. Maintaining a physical and mental and emotional well-being is essential for maintaining and achieving the balance we want in life. But unfortunately, many people neglect it due to busy schedules. And also many see self-care as a waste of time, or again, feeling guilty for wanting to own that time. This results in lacking energy to function the way we want. As a mom, putting everyone's needs first before ours really affect our mental and physical health tremendously. When it comes to self-care, my favorite saying is, fill your own cup first, because you can never pour from an empty cup. So taking a break to look after you will increase your energy level, satisfaction, happiness, and productivity. But yet, we don't always do it. So now that we've identified and explained the top 3 challenges, I hope you can see there is a common thought pattern. I don't have time, I can't say no, and I feel guilty for wanting to own that time for me. These patterns affect our behavior, which consequently affect our life balance. They are also interlinked because once you can manage your time by sticking to your boundaries, that is the first step towards looking after your own well-being, because it will reduce stress and overwhelm. Though nothing will change unless we tackle the number 1 challenge, which is here, our negative thoughts and self-talk. As the map explains, tackling these first is the key to raising awareness and making change. And that happens through reframing, we have a thought or a behavior stopping us. We reframe it and apply some steps to action that change to achieve the life balance. But for now, I'll hand over to Angela, who will talk you through reframing first.
Thank you. Okay. So far we've looked at what balance is and where you sit on that balance scale. And we've considered some of the challenges that can get in the way of you achieving balance in life one way or another. Now we're going to look at a simple technique that's going to help you to reframe some of the challenges in life to support you achieving a better balance. Now, sometimes as a parent, I'm often thinking about that never-ending to-do list. Okay, now that's a never-ending to-do list at home, it's at work, it's basically the whole life situation. And that can leave me feeling particularly frazzled, and potentially you as well, especially if you don't know where or how to get started. But just think for a moment, what if you could shift your perspective and see all of those demands, those conflicting demands, as actual opportunities? That is where the power of reframing comes in. Reframing is a technique where you basically challenge your negative thoughts. You look to find the positive intent behind that negative thought or that behavior, and then you look at how you can switch that with more empowering ones. So let's look at an example here. A common thought that working parents quite often bring to my coaching sessions is that they just don't have enough time for themselves because they're either too busy with work or they're too busy looking after the children at home, and they don't feel that they can take the time out just for themselves. Now, this kind of thought pattern can lead to secondary thoughts, such as not being important, or maybe that your well-being and your welfare doesn't really matter as much as others. And when you start to think about that, you start to notice the feelings that are stirring up inside you. That might create a feeling of resentment, especially if your partner seems to have loads of time for themselves, if they're able to go out and do the things that they want to do in their life. It can leave you feeling unhappy and frustrated towards those people that you really love. Now, instead of thinking, oh, I've never got any time for myself, which let's face it, we've all probably said that from time to time during our life, we can actually think about it in a slightly different way. Just consider what the positive intent may be behind this thought, which in this example could be that you just really care so much about your family and you're actually so passionate about the career that you've got that actually those are the things that matter. It could also be your mind's way of stopping you from overdoing things, even though you could say taking really good care of yourself would help in the long run. So the next stage is to think about a way that you could achieve these positive intents while still taking great care of yourself too. So for example, the thought of taking care of myself and giving me time is going to impact positively on my kids, on my partner, and on my work. You can see it's that ripple effect happening here. When we think about it, time is a really precious resource, isn't it? And sometimes I like to draw the analogy there to it being like water. So we need to be really mindful in the way that we use it. Now, the secondary thoughts that you might experience and you might recognise are that you are important and that your needs actually really do matter. The ripple effect on this, on the emotions that you will feel, could potentially be ones you see as more pleasant, more positive, picking up on those self-confidence boosting feelings, such as a feeling of worth, a feeling of great value, being more happy and having an overall level of improved self-respect. Now, this simple shift can make a big difference in your stress levels and your overall well-being. But trust me here, I'm not saying that a simple reframe is going to change the world for you, because actually that's where the action comes in that we're going to talk about in a little while. But it does all start with that mindset and the desire to make a change through a simple reframe. Having a powerful reframing technique on your side can really help to transform your inner critic to be your biggest cheerleader. And this can lead to a more balanced life, more balanced, more fulfilled, and more empowering, where you feel like you've got better control over things. So I'm going to invite you just for a minute to sit there with that feeling of less overwhelm and more focus and ability to pay attention to what truly matters. Good feeling, right? And that is the power of reframing. So now that we've explored the challenges that block us from achieving balance, and we've considered the technique of reframing, it's time now to share with you some practical steps that you can follow. And I'll hand back over to Sally.
So here are 5 simple practical steps that will help you make changes towards the balanced life you want, after empowering yourself with the new reframed thought that Angela talked you through. Like the example of, I've never have time for myself. Let's action and make some time. So the 5 Ps, the first P is prioritize. And here you identify the most important tasks you have on your list for work, for home, for anything else. By prioritizing, you direct your energy and time towards the most significant aspects. This will reduce the stress of trying to do everything at once. And a tip here, try to go through your list either in the evening for the next day or first thing in the morning, because that will allow you to start the day organized and ready. When I was putting these steps together, I could not help but think of an analogy of going food shopping. You make a list of the essentials and what is missing. So we will follow with this analogy through together with the coming steps, just to help you visualize and understand the steps easier. I know it's not helpful doing the analogy at lunchtime, but we'll see how it goes. And the second P is plan. And here you create a daily or a weekly plan, whatever works best for you. That's for your prioritized activities, and allocate realistic time blocks for them. Stick to this schedule too. And here you could ask yourself, how long do I need for each activity? Where will I complete it? Is that from home, or it needs an office trip? Or is that while my kid is at football training, perhaps? So be specific with the planning. You can also use tools and apps, which they're very popular now. Calendars, planners, scheduling app, time management tools such as the very famous Pomodoro. They're all very helpful. So planning will include meal planning, plan school runs, plan shopping, simply plan anything you want to include, especially plan breaks for you and for your self-care. So without planning, you can feel lost, not organized, and probably not productive, and end up feeling overwhelmed. So let's go back to the analogy. Imagine going to the supermarket with your nicely prepared list, but just wander around the different aisles instead of looking at your list. And you start filling up your shopping trolley with things along the way. Now at checkout, you realize you forget the essentials that you initially came for. So you run back to grab them, and then you lose your space in the queue and start getting late for any appointment or school run or whatever it is. And your stress level rise. And then you realize how much time, energy, and probably money you have wasted. So the shopping experience leaves you exhausted instead of getting your list done in a realistic time and going back home relaxed and with a sense of accomplishment. And this is what we do to our brains, trying to multitask and do many tasks and then we remember them without an actual plan, and probably feel the to-do list is never getting any shorter. So a plan is very crucial, and a schedule too will help you manage your time efficiently and prevent feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. And the third P is pass on. This is to delegate tasks. Determine which tasks can be handled by others, whether at work or at home. These may be tasks you hate doing or the ones that take you longer to complete, for instance. Pass on those tasks to individuals who have the skills and availability to complete them efficiently. You're basically sharing the burden with others. This will allow you to focus on your core priorities and responsibilities, and will free up time for the most important tasks and time for yourself too. It also gives you the sense of community because you will not be feeling lonely to do everything. And the fourth P is prune. Here you review your tasks and commitments regularly to identify activities that don't contribute to your goals, values, or well-being. So remember what we said about saying no and how challenging it is for some of us? Learn to say no to commitments that don't align with your priorities and value. And if you find that difficult, then just for a moment, ask yourself, how will I feel when I don't do that activity I'm asked to do, or no to commitments that I don't want to be part of? Live that feeling for a moment and remember it. Let it empower you. Also prune distractions, especially during deep working times. That is either when working from home and trying to put the washing at the same time, or even seeing the fridge from afar calling you for a snack, or at the office chatting with colleagues and scrolling on your phone. So stick to the time blocks you've set to complete your tasks. So if we go back to our supermarket experience, if you meet a friend there and you keep chatting and you leave without buying your essentials, you will get home feeling frustrated and will have to plan another trip to the supermarket, which is probably going to require time and energy. Now, I'm not saying don't chat to people in the supermarket, but do you get the point? I hope so. So the pruning process would really allow you to be present, focused, and also help declutter your schedule, leading to a clearer mind and a more focused effort. You will have more time and energy for activities that enhance your well-being. So how will you feel prioritizing your tasks? Planning them, passing the non-essentials to someone, and getting rid of few. Thumbs up, down, we good? And that is worth praising yourself for, which takes us to the 5th P, praise. Praise yourself for getting through the day, week, and completing your tasks. Now, I am a huge fan of celebrating small wins because it keeps you motivated and will help with consistently working towards achieving the balance you desire. So at this stage, you go home from the supermarket and make your favorite meal and enjoy it.
Okay, so back to our map and let's have a quick recap. After raising awareness of your current thoughts and behaviour patterns, reframing helps you to have a really different mindset, doesn't it? To help you switch these thoughts around to more motivating and empowering ones. And then the simple step, those 5 Ps, you can see the connection between the reframed thought and the desired balance will be achieved. So now it's your turn. We've looked at how to reframe our thoughts and we followed the 5 Ps to help you with practical application. You've scored yourself on the balance scale. So let's see if this exercise can help you to change that number at all. Now, I'm going to give you a few questions to work through just to see how quick and effective this little exercise can be. You don't need to share things in the chat. You can just make a note of this yourself. So first of all, I would really like you to pop down on a piece of paper something that you really want to have, to be, or to do. Now, this might be part of a bigger goal that you've got, or it might be something that simply just popped into your head right now after listening to the great sessions that you've heard already this morning. So just something that you want to have, to be, or do. Now, the second part is to write down what is really stopping you from having, from being, or from doing that. It may be a particular thought pattern or a behaviour. I invite you here to be really honest with yourself because, like I say, you don't need to share this with anybody. Sometimes at this stage, people look to others and go, oh, it's because of so-and-so that I can't do that. But I'd really encourage you to think about what is stopping you that you are in control of. Now, the third step is to reframe this. So let's go back to what reframing means. Think about what the positive intent is behind this thought pattern or behaviour. Is it maybe trying to keep you safe? Is it trying to keep you secure? Does it make everyone else pleased with you if that's the way that you are? How else could you achieve this while still getting to have, be, or do what you want? I get it, that's quite a big activity there to just think about. Just see what you can find. And then next, I would really like you to think about how you're going to act on this. As I said when we were talking about reframing, the simple act of reframing isn't the be all and end all. You have to put the action in place. So will you apply the 5 Ps that Sally guided us through earlier? With this one, if you'd like, feel free to pop it into the chat as well, because sometimes it can help to be really accountable. Then part 5 of this activity is to really think about how taking this action and reframing those thoughts or behaviours is going to help create balance for you. Why don't you reassess your score on the balance scale as well, just quickly to see whether or not things have changed in your favour. And then finally, how are you going to celebrate? This is such an important step. We've both talked about this. Whether it's a case of when you've taken this action, you're going to go and put on your favourite piece of music, or you might go and make yourself a lovely cup of tea. Great fan of a cup of tea. What are you going to do to celebrate these actions that you've done? This is incredible work, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed the activity. Things to take away from this is really around what thoughts do you think you're going to be reframing after today's session? And what small actions can you put into place? And what difference is that reframing going to make? What is it going to allow you to have, to be, or to do? Now, I appreciate we've whizzed through the activity quite quickly due to the time constraints, so please, by all means, feel free to take a screenshot of the screen before I move on if you've not had time yet to complete it all. Because like I say, this can be applied to any area of your life where you feel things maybe are a little bit out of kilter and out of balance. Back to you, Sally.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us, wanting to make change in your life, and for hopefully completing these steps. We would like to know from you, what has been your biggest takeaway today? So let's go back to Menti for the final time, and I will be sharing the screen. If you could share with us, what's been your biggest takeaway today? Reframe then act, amazing. The 5 Ps and reframing activity. Prune, yeah. It's not always easy to prune, distractions especially. Taking a bit of time for me, but also some good tools. Thank you. Encouragement. Such a great power in positive thoughts.
This is great.
Amazing. Praise myself. That's true. We don't often celebrate our achievements. Small wins really, really matter. Time to reevaluate my boundaries. It's a game changer once you set your own boundaries.
Yeah, and communicate.
The importance of self-discipline and setting boundaries myself. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your takeaways with us. You can keep sending them. I'll just stop the screen. Just share for now. We'll go back to you, Angela.
Okay, great.
So that is it from us for today. We hope it was a useful session. Thank you all for attending our session. And if you haven't already connected with us, please get in touch on social media. Our links are on the screen. And don't forget to scan the QR codes. Mine is to carry on with the self-discovery journey. I've put together a self-assessment file of 15 questions. Shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to complete. And assess yourself in the different areas of your life in terms of balance. At the end of the activity, there is a fun and challenging bit of activity for you. So I'd love to know how you get on with both.
And thank you for me as well. Thanks so much for giving up your lunchtime to come and join us. You'll see on the screen my QR code. We love a QR code here. So feel free to scan that, please. That's going to take you to my free workbook, Finding Balance in 5 Easy Steps, where I share a slightly different exercise for you to complete over a cup of tea to understand more about different areas of your life and the balance within them. So thank you, everybody. It's now over to you. If you have got any questions whatsoever, Sally and I are here to answer them.
Five P's again.
You'd like
Oh,
to see
someone wants the 5 Ps.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
of course.
Sorry, I just wanted to make a note.
Let me just get back to them. There
We
we
will
go.
also be sharing the slides in the Facebook group.
Right, just having a quick look in the chat to see if anybody's got any questions. 5 Ps are up. Yes, the recordings will be available for you on replay.
Okay.
Lots of great comments. Thank you so much. People are loving the 5 Ps, Sally.
It's a great exercise. I've just shared in the chat all our links, Angela and I, our social media links. If someone couldn't scan the QR codes for any reason. Any more questions or thoughts? Anyone?
It doesn't appear so. If there are any questions following today's session, please pop them into the Facebook group or get in touch with Sally and I directly, and we will be able to respond to you then.
Thank you all so much again.
Thank you so much, Angela and Sally. It's been a fantastic session. Didn't expect anything less from you guys. And just what an amazing session of helping us reframe and achieve balance. It's, I think, something that everybody needs in this ridiculously busy life that we have today. So thank you once again. Thank you to everybody for joining us. I just have something to share with you with regards to In Good Company. So for an exclusive time, limited bonus offer for 10 people. This is our first ever live behind the scenes podcast recording that we are able to share as a bonus offer. So you'll get to spend 90 minutes with Joe and Zoe as they invite you to share your podcast ideas, select one and record it live with you and other bonus recipients witnessing the process. After the live recording, you'll have time for all your behind the scenes questions and you'll get to see how Joe and Zoe do the recording, plus outtakes and mishaps and all the magic that's there. And in order to secure a space on this amazing offer, it's a case of paying in full for one of the courses that we have. So any of our ILM programs, ILM level 5 or 7, any of the emotions coaching practitioner training, or the foundations of group and team coaching. The link will be available on our Facebook group, so you'll be able to find that there. So thank you so much once again. It's been lovely to see you all here, and thank you again to Angela and Sally. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.